Ah, the gods are angry. We're all doomed.
May 2009 was a terrible month for creationists and other various pseudoscience fanatics. Ida, the missing link, made large headlines all over the world, and even though the fossil is magnificent and spectacular, it was a bit over the top. Not only was the revealing of the find done in somewhat tacky fashion, but it was presented as the final piece of evidence for evolution, which might give the false impression that there is some sort of debate of the validity of evolution going on. There has not been one for nearly a century, and ever since the discovery of DNA and the gene homology between every living organism in existence, or that has ever existed, no one with any education in biology has ever doubted that every living thing on this planet today and in the past are related to each other. Ida, our distant relative, is a rare find, and if you have an opportunity to see her, I strongly recommend that you do. However, somewhat drowned in the excitement over this distant relative, a much greater scientific discovery was presented in Nature magazine. UK scientists have been able to produce life in a laboratory and more or less confirmed abiogenesis. Scientists have now been able to show how activated ribonucleotides could have formed during the prebiotic Earth, and this is how. Cyanamide and glycoaldehyde combine to produce 2-amino-oxazole and water. The 2-amino-oxazole can react with glyceraldehyde to produce ribose, which in combination with cyanacetylene leads to anhydroarabinonucleoside that can be phosphorylated into beta-ribositidine 2'3' cyclic phosphate. This activated ribonucleotide is synthesized under the right conditions from very simple precursors that were abundant during the prebiotic Earth into the building blocks of life, RNA. All that is needed are cyanamide, glycoaldehyde, glyceraldehyde, cyanoacetylene, and some inorganic phosphate. Not only is the phosphate incorporated in the end product, it is also present during the entire reaction and acts as a general acid-base catalyst, nucleophilic catalyst, and as a pH buffer. From this activated ribonucleotide, polymerization into RNA is possible. The RNA world hypothesis is one theory of abiogenesis that speculates that the origin of life started with the RNA polymer, a theory which now has stronger evidence than ever before. RNA is a nucleotide polymer that can store information, coded in two types of bases, purines and pyrimidines. RNA can self-replicate and is therefore a strong candidate for the origin of life. Once in place, evolution will lead to an ever-increasing diversity of life, from the protocell to prokaryotes, eukaryotes, and finally modern-day life. Creationists in their ignorance somehow think that the simplest life form is this one, and that the odds for this one spontaneously appearing out of nothing are astronomical. And they are right, but no one is saying that. What we today refer to as primitive single-cell life forms all have nearly 4 billion years of evolution behind them, and there is nothing simple about them. All living organisms today are incredibly complex compared with how life originated on this planet. But when did life begin? During what state of evolution? Here, a self-replicating polymer fits all criteria for life. It isn't sentient life, but neither are bacteria nor viruses.
Chirality. You know, it's where nucleotides and amino acids are either left or right-handed, and in every single experiment done to try and produce a naturalistic origin of amino acids and nucleotides, it produces a racemic mixture.
Ah, silly creationists and their complete lack of scientific knowledge. It is true that the major products will be a racemic mix of different-handed pentose amino oxazolenes. But even a first-year chemistry student can separate two stereoisomers from each other. Are you saying that the greatest chemist in the world, Mother Nature, can't? Silly creationists. All that is needed in order to separate the two pentose amino oxazolenes is a simple crystallization process. For more information, I suggest this article. Link in the description box as well.
Because you have all these bad chemicals, right? I know I'm being condescending here, but it's pretty obvious. We have all these bad chemicals and we have the good ones. The good ones are the ones we want.
Don't you just love it when two people with different but equally respectable backgrounds can have a civil discussion? Unfortunately, I have never been in that situation. Even though beta-ribocitidine 2'3' cycliphosphate would be the major product, several byproducts would also be synthesized that could interfere with the polymerization of these building blocks into RNA. Today's atmosphere protects us from UV light, but during the prebiotic Earth, the atmosphere was quite different. When these molecules were subjected to UV light irradiation, they all broke down except for the beta-ribocitidine 2'3' cycliphosphate, indicating that not only would this RNA building block survive in the hostile environment of prebiotic Earth, it would also be selected for and enriched by the process. Don't worry, creationists. You can always use the same tactic that you have used since you dreamed up your delusions millennia ago. You can always deny the evidence. But when you are ready to leave your security blanket, the real world awaits. Unless, of course, you and those like you already have blown up the planet, arguing which one of your imaginary friends is the more peaceful, tolerant, and loving one.